The streaming microphone market is ever changing, never static, with more and more competitors joining in every couple months. The best part is that they keep getting cheaper and cheaper. No more are you expected to drop $300 to $400 on a microphone just because that's really where all the worthwhile ones are. We've seen more and more $200 and $100 microphones enter the picture and get you most of the way there. Today's mic is no exception. This is the AVerMedia Live Streamer Mic 330, a $100 dynamic XLR microphone that actually sounds pretty good. Well, if you just plug it in, no, it probably sounds pretty bad. But if you give it a little coaxing and you work for it, I'm pretty happy with its performance for under $100 Enos. I'm EposVox, the stream professor, and while I do think we will reach a point of it being silly for every company to keep releasing their spin on the same product over and over, I've been very stoked to see cheaper microphones getting better and good microphones getting cheaper. What makes me even happier is the fact that we're finally seeing more companies invest in dynamic microphones instead of condensers for streaming. Even AVerMedia's previous live streamer mic was a condenser. Briefly, the difference between a condenser mic and a dynamic is that a condenser takes in active phantom power, which activates the capsule, making it sensitive to sound. Meanwhile, a dynamic mic capsule is activated by the sound waves themselves. This makes dynamic microphones less sensitive to ambient background noise, but more limited in the ranges and the tone that it can pick up and reproduce. Condenser mics are great for vocal booths and recording studios where you want the most accurate natural sound from the start. But dynamics are they're better for broadcast, especially in less acoustically clean environments in areas with lots of reflection points, like a desk. But dynamic mics do need a little bit more work in post to sound their best. You gotta really massage it, work out the knots and the aches like my back after carrying my kid around all day, but it's worth it in the end. I can be pretty picky about microphones. Some weird decisions have been made to the out-of-the-box tuning on a lot of the recently released mics out there. The Samson Q9U that we reviewed just recently, for example, sounded very dead and awful out of the box and needed a lot of work to clean it up. For double the price at $200, the Q9U sounds significantly worse out of the box than the AVerMedia 330. That doesn't mean that this one sounds great either. That being said, viewers often disagree with me about my preferences of a mic's pre- or post-process sound, and that's okay. That's why I provide clear and clean comparisons for you to make that decision, to help you make those decisions. I want to empower your purchasing path. I also want to empower you as a streamer or content creator, which is why my team and I have released Backing Track, a library of royalty-free rock and metal music for you to use in your live streams, in your videos, your creative projects, whatever. Too often is stream-safe music locked to genres that you don't like or all sounding a bit too samey. Backing Track hopes to change that by offering serious metal inspired by the greats from the 80s and the 90s with some modern twists too. Check out the streams at backingtrack.gg or your favorite streaming music provider, or head on over to our Discord at discord.gg/EposVox to get the free downloads directly to mix and remix to your heart's content, and we'll even have stems available at some point in June. Happy streaming. Physically, the Live Streamer Mic 330 is awesome. I usually find the whole discussion about a mic's appearance to be trivial and not worth the time, but man, this one does look slick. The red ring at the front can be swapped out for a more black or gray included in the box, by the way. I'd prefer the branding to not be slapped on the side, but the overall presentation here is stellar, and it feels fairly high quality. The yoke is interesting looking, but functional enough, I suppose, and they got one thing right here that very few mics do, being one being the SM7B, and the Q9U did get this right, but that is the threaded mic adapter, so you can just spin that to attach it to your mic arm rather than spinning the entire microphone around. Thank you. On the bottom of the mic rests a power switch. This isn't really a mute button, as it's way too out of the way and clunky to function as one, but rather a full on-off switch. Weird. Notably absent here is a shock mount, and any obvious way to attach a pop filter. This really sucks. The packaging brags about a built-in pop-up filter, as most microphones do, and like most microphones, it's not good enough at all. Multiple inches away at a reasonable talking level, I can still cause plosives. Plosives. Angling the microphone can mostly help, but it will still happen, and you'll cause at least one viewer to bleed out of their ears when it does. Do you really want that on your conscience? There's also no shock mount here, and by using its own yoke format, there's no reasonable way to use a third-party one. That being said, compared to mics like the Q9U, which picked up every ounce of handling noise possible, the 330 here doesn't seem to really pick up much of anything, so you'll probably be fine without a shock mount, and that's okay. Let's talk about the sound. Out of the box, it was honestly a little disappointing. I simultaneously felt a little bit muffled and tinny, but not necessarily bright. Dynamic mics like the SM7B and the RE20 often favor warmer and lower register voices like my own, so I'm always confused using mics like this as it sounds like I'm talking through a walkie-talkie, at least if I'm being like super harsh. Now, as you heard through most of this video, I was able to make it sound pretty decent with a parametric equalizer and a basic compressor in post, but this required a lot more work than most mics that I EQ for my regular use. So for those inexperienced with EQ, this could prove frustrating. But now that I have this sound, I would actually be comfortable using this for regular content. Sounds fine. I might leave it on my mic arm as well. Just leave it there for a while for a few videos. Why not? That being said, I did this with a parametric equalizer, and I'm not sure you'd easily get the sound, this kind of sound with the basic 8-band graphic equalizer like what's included on the AVerMedia Live Streamer Nexus for real-time processing. Link to that review is in the description. Again, I do have a lower voice, however, and those with higher voices may find that it plays to their sound a little bit better. The packaging brags about the mic being tuned with a mid and presence boost, but I feel like this was maybe the wrong call. First of all, I rarely hear of anyone wanting a boost on the mids for a streaming vocal mic. You usually want to cut them to cut out some of the nasaliness and the muddiness sound. But I also think here that the presence boost is either not at the right frequencies for me or just implemented poorly. I'm not sure. I think that's what's causing the tinny sound that I'm not liking. Again, this may work better on higher, lighter or higher voices. Let's compare this to some similarly priced mics. 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky, 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone, 9 for the mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky, 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone, 9 for the mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. Talking while typing test, we're talking on box royal switches, talking while typing and clicking. Talking while typing, this is box royal switches, talk, type, click, click. Talking while typing, these are box royal switches, talking while clicking, click, type. Talking while typing test, these are box royal switches, talking while clicking, clicking, typing. Talking while typing, these are box royal switches, clicky, talking while typing. And we have the usual white noise test. We're in front of the microphone, coming around the right side, the back of the microphone, left, over top, underneath, back behind again, and around to the front. And our white noise test. Right in front of the microphone, going around the side of the microphone, going around the back of the microphone, other side, on top, below, back to the back, and back around front. And our white noise test. Directly facing the microphone, around the side of the microphone, around the back of the microphone, over top the mic, around side, and back up front. White noise. In front of the microphone, around the side of the microphone, around the back of the microphone, side, top, bottom, side, back up front. And our white noise test. In front of the microphone, around the side of the microphone, around the other side of the microphone, around behind the microphone, up above, back behind, down below, and back in front. Unfortunately, I still haven't gotten my hands on the Rode Pod mic, so I can't compare it here, but I'd say after processing at least, this performs about the same from what I can judge of having heard it in other videos, so it's a $100 dynamic mic, you get about the same performance. After testing these and listening to the samples, I do feel a little bit better about the decisions regarding the presence boost. Maybe not the mids boost, but the presence boost. Compared to the super dark out-of-the-box sound of something like the Samson Q9U, it comes across a lot more clear and will cut across game sounds and the background sounds and things like that more easily in your stream. It could be better though. What really stands out here is the performance of the Q2U versus all of these mics. For a much cheaper microphone, it still just sounds so good without any processing. Like, if people could get over the looks, this might be the mic. Is the AVerMedia Live Streamer Mic 330 worth $100? I'd say yeah. While other $100 mics could be an equal or better choice, there could be characteristics of this sound that you prefer, or perhaps the look alone is the selling point for you, as long as you don't mind that damn AVerMedia logo slapped on both sides. Maybe get your own branded stickers and put that over top. That might actually be pretty cool. I need to get some of my own printed. With some EQ know-how, the mic performs reasonably well for the price, and I'm so glad to see more streamer-focused mics that are dynamic instead of condensers. By the way, if you noticed a slight hiss throughout the video and my mic tests and things like that, I've been doing all of these samples and tests with the AVerMedia Live Streamer Nexus. It's basically what happens when the Go XLR and the Elgato Stream Deck elope and have a baby, but the gain setup and signal chain on here seems to be a little whack and to continuously give a hiss. Check the full review linked in the description for more details. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe for more tech education and stream guides. Join us on Discord to chat about this microphone and the other AVerMedia released today, or download the backing track music, and I'll see you next time.